Good morning, guys. I'm so excited to be doing these vlogs. I am outside with the dogs and the birds and everything else, so you'll probably hear a lot. Basically, I'm here to tell you about my story and what I have been doing in the last few years to lose all this weight. And a lot of people, because they ask me how I've done it and they want to know themselves, I'm going to give you a few pointers and we'll go from there. So basically, I have lost 37.2 kilos being low carb, and it has been an incredible journey. I've had so much support and I have supported so many other people, but the most important thing is I have started to fix myself. I've started to nurture myself, and I've started to love myself, and I have not only fixed my relationship with food, but I've fixed my relationship with myself, and that is number one. That is the most important thing I would say to anybody who is starting any sort of weight loss journey, is that you have to start looking at your relationship with you before you look at your relationship with food, because they sort of come hand in hand, but you've got to fix the relationship you have with you before you fix the relationship with food. Now, I did it. I've done a lot of personal development. I've done a lot of counseling and therapy in my time. The personal development that I did on my own, so my personal development, was the biggest thing. So I did read a lot of books. I looked at myself every day. I did meditation. I basically set goals and figured out who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And that's really, really important for me, because I'm the type of person who needs to understand where I'm at, who I am, and what I'm doing. So once I figured out my relationship with me, I then started to work on the relationship I had with food. And they do sort of come hand in hand, because my relationship with food was my security blanket. If I was emotional, I would eat food, and it wouldn't be an apple or some strawberries or anything like that. It would be McDonald's or carbohydrates and sugar. And that was a really big thing, and that was one of the reasons why I put on so much weight. And I started to hate myself for that. Now, 37.2 kilos on low carb, that's huge. That's the amount that I've lost, and I'm so proud of myself for that. And I want to lose another 20 to 25 kilos, depending on how I feel. I do have polycystic ovaries, so PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's quite common. I know quite a few people who have it. It means I also have insulin resistance, which basically means it's really hard for me to lose weight, whether I'm doing low carb or whether I'm doing any other diet that I've tried. It just means it's really hard to lose weight. I go through a lot of stalls, and my body sort of resets itself, and I have to keep up with all those resets. Which is kind of crazy. At the moment as well, we are on a fertility journey, so I'm calling it my polycystic ovarian syndrome fertility journey, because it has been an incredible journey. Because I have PCOS, I have a lack of fertility, I have a hormone imbalance, and it just makes it really hard to fall pregnant. And I've had a lot of up and downs with that, which is really confronting to say to people. But I'm basically using food as my medicine. So low carb, meaning low carb, high fat, is all about low carb eating and high fat eating. Now, it's all of your good fats. So I've sort of learnt that all of my good fats are my coconut oils, my avocados, my nuts, my seeds, my protein, all that sort of thing. That's the sort of thing that I eat. And I don't eat anything that's grown underground. So I don't eat potatoes. I don't eat all of like stodgy vegetables like carrots or anything like that. Pumpkins that are grown underground. I don't eat any of that. I only eat stuff grown above ground. So the leafy greens, I think it's the Kent pumpkin that grows above ground. I sometimes eat sweet potato. All of that sort of thing. Now, I did start off eating dairy, so dairy was a really big thing. Dairy was perfectly fine to eat on low carb, but because I have polycystic ovaries, I was finding that dairy was a massive inflammatory for me. And in the last couple of weeks, I've really started to decrease my dairy and this week I have completely stopped eating dairy, which is great. I haven't really felt any differences but I did lose a kilo not eating dairy, so I'm kind of hoping that I've got through this last stall, which has lasted about 6 weeks. Hoping I've got through this stall so that I can continue going, but just by not eating dairy, which is great. If anybody wants to try it, it's a good Kickstarter. Now, my journey it started in 2014. My low carb journey didn't start until 2015, January of 2015. It was my friend Jess, she's a good family friend of ours, who actually suggested to go on low carb, high fat, because she had been on it herself. And I think at that point she lost about 17 kilos, and I was in awe of her. I was so proud of her and her journey, and I wanted, I basically wanted I wanted a part of it because I needed to lose weight myself. And that's when I started, and she was my biggest support at the time. Because she was going through the process herself, it was basically text messages and phone calls every day to ask, can I eat this food? What are you having for dinner? And still to this very day, we will message each other, just asking how things are going and all that sort of thing. She's a bit of my motivator. She's, if I'm feeling a bit like I'm stuck and I need some advice, I will go to her in regards to low carb, just because she's on a low carb journey herself. And sometimes the things that she says really kickstarts me, and it basically pushes me to keep on going. There are definitely times where I just want to fall off the bandwagon. I don't want to do it anymore, because going out is a big thing for me with friends. How nice is it to go out and have a beer and a bowl of chips with some friends at the pub? That was my thinking. All the time I used to think, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. And I can do that. I just can't have the beer, and I can't have the chips on the table. And that's one thing I've had to learn is food is not meant to be social. It's meant to be there to nourish your body. It's meant to be there to flood it with nutrient, and it's basically your fuel. So I had to turn around. I had to change my thinking about food and change my relationship with food so that I could keep going. Now, food to me now is all about nutrients. It's all about nourishment and nurturing my body. And that's why I eat a lot of nuts and seeds and raw sort of high fat, low carb foods. That's just where I've got to. It's taken me 2 years to get to that point. So this year I started to kind of delve into raw foods and raw low carb foods, and that's my new thing. And that's it's really quite interesting, because it's like the next step up to where I've been, which is why I've cut out dairy, and I've kind of hit the raw food list basically. I'm still eating meat, don't get me wrong, I'm still eating some sort of meats and stuff like that, but I've even cut down on meat. I've cut down on dairy, and I had to cut down on avocados because I was becoming a little bit addicted to them, and it's a very expensive addiction. So that's one of the biggest things that I had to do this year, was to focus on that. Now, one thing that I say when you are losing weight is find a support person. I have got an amazing support crew. My husband is my #1 supporter, and I couldn't be more grateful for him and all his quirky comments and everything like that. I've got Oz here wanting to play. Oz is my dog. So yeah, I couldn't be more grateful for Corey and all of his support. I've got some beautiful family and friends who have been on my journey with me along the way, and who have seen my transformation. My mother-in-law, every time I see her, she says, have you lost more weight? And I saw her the other night, and I was like, actually, I feel like I've gained like 20 kilos today. I'd actually only in fact gained 2, but she said, no, you've lost weight. And they're the uplifting moments that losing weight gives you. It's incredible. It's such an amazing feeling. Now, I had to work on my relationship with me to be able to accept any sort of compliment given to me. And you get a lot of compliments along the way, which is great, don't get me wrong. But when you don't have a very good relationship with yourself, those compliments can be, quite hard to take. And sometimes you can turn the compliment into a negative, like, oh, was I so big before that, you know, I look okay now. That was one of the biggest things that I had to overcome, was to accept compliments, and you know, even give the compliment back, or even say thank you. So that's one of the biggest things I've had to learn in the last 3 years, is to accept compliments, because you get so many, especially when you've lost 37 kilos. You will get lots and lots of compliments. The second thing about my relationship with me was my emotions, how I was controlling my emotions, and what I was doing with them. I used to, when I used to get emotional, I used to just eat, and that was where my relationship with food became really bad. I used to use food as a comfort blanket, and I've had to really work on, when I get emotional, go and do something else, go for a walk, or figure out what's going on, usually emotional intelligence, figure out what's going on and work with it and deal with it at the time, so I don't resort to eating food. And that was another really big thing. I'm a part of this really amazing, beautiful facilitation team in Perth. With Moving Forward Australia, we run a 3-day workshop, and it's called Diluting the Icebergs, and it's all about diluting your emotions. So it's about diluting all the crap that's gone on basically in your life, and helping you figure out what you're going to do next. It is all about balancing your emotional intelligence, and it would kind of give you tools, or help you with tools to overcome stuff that happens in your life. Now, I did my workshop in 2011, so that was a big thing for me, and I have basically been just growing from there. So this weight loss journey, I've used a lot of the tools that I learnt at Moving Forward, both as a facilitator and when I was there as a participant. Oh, let's get down. Sorry. And yeah, that's just what I used, and it was a really good support network for me, because I do have a lot of friends there, and also because we are all about personal development, it was just really uplifting to have that support behind me, especially within me. That was one of my big things. Now, so yeah, that was number 2. So make sure you have a really good support network. You need it anywhere. Go and find some random on the street and ask them to support you, and I guarantee you someone will support you for making the right decision. So yeah, that's basically what I would do. Relationships with yourself is probably your key thing. Relationship with food, that's a big thing. Now, I've turned food from being security blanket to being just nutrient based, and I did that through a lot of education. Now, I followed Professor Noakes. I followed Christine Cronau, even Pete Evans, who's more paleo. They were some of the bigger names that I had a look at, just to learn about food and learn about low carb and what I could and couldn't eat, and what those sort of things did to my body. And then I found a product called Juice Plus. Now, I absolutely love Juice Plus. It's basically fruits, veg and berries in a capsule. They're like a supplement to top up on your daily foods, basically. So they carry 27 fruits, veg and berries in capsules that you take every day, and it just floods your body with nutrients. Now, I was so keen on these because I was on a weight loss journey, on a personal development health journey, and I thought, I'm just going to take these because I need them. I need to flood my body with as many nutrients. I need to heal my body so that I could absorb the nutrients, and that's where it all started. And I have now got my own little teenie who's my best friend, and I joined because I joined the business, and that's that's another journey in itself, and that's even just as incredible. So that's another thing that sort of kept me going with my weight loss journey, and will continually keep me going. And that's sort of where I am today, is wanting to help people with their own weight loss journey and their own personal development journey, because you can do it. And that's one thing that I never really got told, was you can do it. I've always sort of failed at diets. I've done so many diets. I've spent so much money on Jenny Craig. I've spent so much money on shakes and fitness programs, and they all sort of failed. And admittedly, they failed because I didn't have a good mindset and I didn't have a good relationship with myself, but also because I'd get there and